First up, the M5 Ultra. If you thought Apple was coasting, think again. We just got official code confirmation in the iOS 26.3 release candidate for a chip labeled H17D. Translation: the Ultra is back. It skipped a grade and it's choosing violence. After Apple left us on red by skipping the M4 Ultra, the M5 is making up for lost time. We're talking about a 35,000 multicore score. That's not just fast, that's making the 64-core Threadripper look like a calculator fast. Apple's new 2.5D packaging is basically fusing two M5 Max chips together with the synergy of a K-pop group, hitting single-core speeds that shouldn't even be legal. But the real RIP goes out to NVIDIA. With 96 GPU cores, the M5 Ultra is eyeing a 400,000 metal score. Yes, that beats the RTX 5090. While NVIDIA is busy ignoring gamers to build AI data centers for billionaires, shout out to the NVIDIA tax, Apple is putting that same power on your desk for $4,000. And the secret sauce? Unified memory. While PC builders are out here selling kidneys for 24 gigabytes of VRAM, the M5 Ultra can rock up to half a terabyte. If you're training AI models or rendering 8K video, this isn't just a computer, it's a cheat code. It's the ultimate "I'm not trapped in here with you, you're trapped in here with me" moment for the Mac Studio. Launch is pegged for WWDC this summer. The king of silicon is reclaiming the throne. But what about the chip for the rest of us? Let's talk M5 Max. If the Ultra is a sledgehammer, the M5 Max is a surgical scalpel that somehow has the power of a jet engine. We are likely just days away from a surprise press release, possibly March, because the current M4 inventory is drying up faster than a Tesla's range in a blizzard. Why the hype? Because the M5 Max is moving to 2.5D packaging. Apple is basically using a master template design that lets them mix and match CPU and GPU blocks like they're playing with tech Legos. This is why the M5 Pro was missing from the code leaks. It's likely just a binned M5 Max now. Efficient? Yes. Savage? Absolutely. Performance-wise, we're looking at a 31,000 multi-core score. That's desktop-class power in something you can actually fit in a backpack without needing a chiropractor. And for the gamers and 3D nerds, the 48-core GPU is expected to crack 250,000 in Geekbench metal. That puts it in the same ring as a mobile RTX 5070 Ti without the fan noise that sounds like a vacuum cleaner having a panic attack. The best part? While the rest of the industry is hiking prices because of the global RAM crisis, Apple is rumored to keep the base price at $2,000. Plus, with Thunderbolt 5 and a potential OLED upgrade looming for the M6, this M5 Max is the ultimate stopgap that actually feels like a finish line. It's the pro laptop that makes Windows workstations look like they're still running on AA batteries. But hold your wallets, because MacBook Pros aren't the only thing Apple is refreshing. Let's talk M3 Ultra, the current beast. If the M5 Ultra is the future, the M3 Ultra is the current king of, wait, I can run that on my desk? With a 32-core CPU and 80-core GPU, this thing is basically a server rack that Apple shrunk down until it fit in a lunchbox. But let's be real, you aren't spending 10 grand on this to play Minecraft. The headline here is the 512 gigabytes of unified memory. That's half a terabyte of RAM that both the CPU and the GPU can access at the same time. It's the only consumer PC on the planet that can look at a 671 billion parameter model like DeepSeek R1 and say, I got this. I tested it. To run the full-fat 4-bit quantized R1 model locally, you have to go into Terminal and basically tell macOS to stop being a helicopter parent and unlock 448 gigabytes of VRAM. Once you do, it actually works. You get about 18 tokens per second. That's faster than most people can read, all while drawing under 200 watts from the wall. Compare that to a PC setup. To get 512 gigabytes of VRAM on a Windows box, you'd need 16 RTX 5090s. For privacy-obsessed companies or AI researchers, the M3 Ultra isn't just a computer, it's a $10,000 get-out-of-the-cloud free card. It's a niche beast, sure, but as the first Mac to ever hit these RAM heights, it's a legend in the making. But hey, did you check out the latest M4 Max? If you're a pro editor whose time is literally money, this is the "I'm too busy for a coffee break" chip. Launched in the 2025 Mac Studio, this chip is a performance juggernaut that makes the old M1 Max look like it's running on a hamster wheel. We're looking at a 16-core CPU and a 40-core GPU that doesn't just edit 4K, it eats 6K and 8K ProRes for breakfast. Thanks to the dual media engines, export times are essentially cut in half compared to the base M4. I'm talking about a 10-minute 4K project spitting out in under 3 minutes. It's so fast you'll spend more time picking a thumbnail than actually rendering. The big upgrade this time? Thunderbolt 5. We finally have 120 gigabits per second bandwidth on the back ports. You can now hook up external SSDs that are actually faster than the internal drive. But here's the classic Apple gripes section. The front ports are still stuck at 10 gigabit USB-C, which is like having a Ferrari but the passenger door only opens halfway. And don't even get me started on the headphone jack being on the back. Apple, we have ears on the front of our heads, thanks. It starts at $2,000, which is a killer deal until you start clicking upgrade. Want 64 gigabytes of RAM and a usable SSD? Suddenly you're at $3,000 and staring at the M3 Ultra like a jealous ex. But for the 9-to-5 creative, this is the sweet spot of power and thermals. No fan noise, no throttling, just pure, unadulterated speed. So it's the king of efficiency, but does it have the potential to beat the old flagship model M2 Ultra? Let's check. This is the chip where Apple basically said if it works, double it. Using their Ultra Fusion architecture, Apple literally glued two M2 Max chips together. They call it a custom interconnect. We call it the best case scenario for superglue. We're talking about 134 billion transistors and a massive 192 gigabytes of unified memory. In the real world, this thing is a beast. In Blender and Premiere Pro, the scaling is actually perfect, literally double the performance of the M2 Max. It can handle 22 streams of 8K ProRes simultaneously. If you're a video editor who hates waiting for export bars, this chip is your best friend. It's the difference between going for a coffee and blinking and it's done. Connectivity? It's a port paradise. 6 Thunderbolt 4 ports, 10 gig Ethernet, and an enhanced HDMI 2.1 that supports 8K at 60 Hz, or 4K at a buttery 240 Hz. It can run 8 4K displays at once. Yes, 8. At that point, you don't have a desk, you have a mission control center. The downside? It weighs nearly 4 kilograms. It's basically a silver brick of pure power. And at $4,000, it's a professional investment. Unless you're editing Hollywood films or training massive datasets, it's probably overkill. But as a look what we can do moment for Apple Silicon, it's legendary. But what about the Max edition? Let's dive into it. If the Ultra is a fused monster, the M2 Max is the refined athlete of the lineup. It's the chip that proved Apple wasn't just gluing things together, they were perfecting the art of the workstation. Featuring a 12-core CPU and a 38-core GPU, this was the 2023 king of, wait, my laptop just did that? The secret sauce? Dual media engines. While your buddies on base M2 chips are waiting for a single video to export, you're rendering twice as fast. It's the ultimate I'm built different moment. Plus, with 400 gigabytes of memory bandwidth, you can flip between Final Cut, 3D modeling in Blender, and 500 Chrome tabs without the system even breaking a sweat. Connectivity actually got a massive buff here too. This was the first time we got HDMI 2.1 supporting 4K at 240 Hz. That's right, your Mac finally supports monitors faster than your own reflexes. But it's still a Mac Studio, so you've got to do the Apple reach around to find the headphone jack on the back. It's a professional desktop, but Apple still wants you to play hide and seek with your cables. Base model starts with 32 gigabytes of RAM and a 512 gigabyte SSD. A quick pro tip, the 512 gig drive is actually a bit slower than the 1 terabyte option. But honestly, in the real world, you'll barely notice. It's like complaining your private jet only goes Mach 0.8 instead of 0.9. It's still a jet. It's silent, it's cold, and it's arguably the best value for money used Mac on the market right now.